Hey everybody. Well, I just wanted to do a quick follow-up video to the last one I did regarding FTC's new YouTube regulations and laws, in which now we as content creators are legally required to mark our channel or our videos as either made for kids or not made for kids. And my video went into all the different specific problems and situations that can arise between labeling your channel or videos one way versus another. But at any rate, I've come into some new information that I think will help put a little ease on our minds regarding kind of the ambiguity and problems that had previously been associated with all these laws. Like I said, because we're a Gunpla YouTube channel and YouTube community, it's a little unclear exactly where we lie on the spectrum between whether our channels are meant for kids or not. But there's a piece of evidence we can use now to figure that out pretty accurately. And I was watching a different video. This is the video here, and it's made by Greenleaf Productions, and I'll have a link to this video in the description below. But basically, it outlines some specific information outlined actually by the FTC itself as to more specific guidelines and more specific assessments of how everything is to be viewed and managed when they start looking at videos and channels that might be guilty of violating COPPA law. But at any rate, one of the most important things I did find out was that you can look at your analytics to figure out something really important. So if you go up here to the corner here where your icon is, and you drag down this window, go to the YouTube Studio option. Okay? And when you've done that, you'll bring up this tab with your channel dashboard and some various information. It'll look something like this. And you'll go to the side here, and under Playlist, you'll have Analytics. You want to click on that, and then it brings up this page. And you have different options right here. But what you really want to look at right now is audience. And then you can go over here and you can choose the time frame of how long ago you want to view the information. For my sake, I'm just going to go lifetime. So, let's retry that. There we go. And as you can see, most of the time there was no information gathered at all, which is kind of good, I suppose. But nonetheless, what you want to look at down here is the age of your audience. And what is very clearly apparent from my videos and my channel is that my viewership is solidly within an adult audience, and it always has been. I mean, if you even go back up here, I'm going to move from lifetime to the last 365 days. So just this last year, my viewership has been 100% between 25 to 34 years. And if you go back to lifetime and see that for a while anyway, my viewership was like halfway in the 18 to 24 range, all this tells me is I've had mostly the same audience and they just got older, which can only help my case. In the entire lifetime of my channel, I have only had 2% of audience that could be put into some kind of doubt as to whether or not they are kids. Because remember, the issue here was that kids were using YouTube even though YouTube is specifically intended for people 13 years and older. But kids were using it, And because of that, YouTube was taking their personal information and using it for advertising purposes, which is illegal, and that's why they got hit with a huge lawsuit. And now that's why we have to mark our videos as made for kids or not. And part of the FTC's new laws and how they're going to regulate the laws and enforce the laws is they'll be going in and looking at specific channels and specific videos. And they'll be trying to figure out, is your channel or are your videos intended for kids? And they'll have different criteria by which they use to assess this information. And one of the things that this video pointed out was an article or a fax that is actually made by the FTC right here. And and it's actually by the FTC, as you can see. And is your content directed to children? We'll scoot down here a little bit, and this information is the real determining information. So how can channel owners determine if their content is directed to children? The rule sets out additional factors the FTC will consider in determining whether your content is child-directed. So it's the subject matter, visual content, use of animated characters of child-oriented activities, incentives, the kind of music or other audio content, the age of the models, presence of child celebrities or celebrities who appeal to children, language or other characteristics of the site, whether advertising that promotes or appears on the site is directed to children, and competent and reliable empirical evidence about the age of the audience. Basically, your analytics. And if your analytics show anything like this, or if they show a trend where the older people get, the more people you have viewing, that's good. That's really, really good. And it means that you are probably not in much, if any, risk of violating COPPA law. If, on the other hand, you see an analytic trend over your lifetime of the channel, and it looks something like this, where larger bars are up here, and then nothing down here, that could be a problem. Granted, my channel is pretty small, so my viewership is pretty isolated and specific, and that means that all my viewers are probably the same group of people that have been with me the whole way around. But for larger channels that generate bigger audiences, you're going to want to be a little more careful and look at your analytics and figure out what kind of age group is mostly coming to your channel. Because if it's a lot of 13 to 17-year-olds, there could be a problem. Because again, kids were cheating and lying about their age. Kids were coming on the site, and therefore kids' personal information was being obtained, even though YouTube knew that these individuals were probably children. But if you have an age group like this, you're probably okay. But let's say, just for sake of argument, that somehow you labeled a channel or a video as not for kids, but the FTC decided that something in your channel was made for kids. There is something very important to know, and this channel, or this video I should say, outlines the information well and states that everything that the FTC does will be on a case-by-case basis with consideration to the channel's size and how much revenue and everything that was gathered. They basically weigh how much harm was done by your channel and how big of a channel it was, and they will try to lay out appropriate punishments, meaning that some small little channel like mine that doesn't even have monetization isn't gonna be at risk of anything like a $42,000 lawsuit. I mean, the worst they could do is get rid of my channel and fine me maybe $100 or so $5. I mean, that's just an estimate. I don't really know, exactly what they would do. But it's not going to be like everybody and anybody is going to receive multiple $1,000 lawsuits because of 1 or 2 videos. That's not how they're going to do this. At least that's the way it very much seems to be. So even in the worst case scenarios, you could maybe still end up losing your channel. And that's bad, and that's bad enough. And we shouldn't have to worry about that, but it's just the way it is now. But at very least, you're not going to be fined, life-ruining amounts of money. They're not going to fine you for money that you don't have. So I think it's pretty clear that we have a lot less to worry about than we did before. But this is still something you need to take very seriously, and it's still something you have to comply with. You will have to go in and mark either specific videos as made for kids, or just label your whole channel as not for kids. You have to actually still go through and take those steps. But doing so, I don't think comes with as much of risk as I thought it did initially. So that's good. And I think a lot of us can now breathe a sigh of relief and not be so worried about what's going to come down the pipe come January 1st. But anyway, I think I've rambled long enough. I think I've gotten the point across. If I do come across anything else that I think is worth sharing, I will be sure to do so. But I think for now, we are in a much better place than we were before. So just make sure, again, you check your analytics, get to your studio, check out the age demographics, and use that with as much consideration as possible to determine which of your videos may or may not be intended for kids, and really try to do the best job you can, because it's still going to be a problem if you do run afoul of these laws. But then again, like I said, I wouldn't worry about them ruining your whole life. I don't think it's going to be like that at all. And at any rate, I think I'm going to end the video here. So thank you for watching. I hope whatever you guys do will be enough to handle this situation. And I'm looking forward to continuing my channel. I will not be shutting anything down. And I look forward to releasing some more content in the future, hopefully, so I can share with you guys some information about where I've been and kind of what I've been up to, some projects I might be working on. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. Best of luck, guys.